Currently, the Iranian regime finds itself engaged in a perilous double game deep in the shadowed waters of the Strait of Hormuz. Although they present themselves as open to peace discussions at the bargaining table, the authorities in Tehran are covertly arranging a hazardous underwater snare. By routing efforts through Pakistan, Iran put forth a ceasefire idea intended to delay Washington and lessen the pressing military concerns. Nevertheless, hidden behind this diplomatic move is a more treacherous, well-planned, and risky scheme overall. The IRGC has started to position Ghadir-class stealth submarines at the most confined and vital locations within the strait. These smaller submarines possess the capacity to deploy mines across the passage, carry out sudden strikes on enormous oil tankers, and create direct dangers to United States naval forces in the area. This is Political Insight Live, and right now I am laying out the entire situation for you regarding the true events in the Strait of Hormuz. These are the kinds of in-depth perspectives that are tough to locate with such thoroughness anywhere else. The Ghadir-class boats, which measure just 29 meters long and weigh about 125 tons, are able to descend quietly onto the seabed and remain stationary for extended periods. They function much like ticking explosives situated at the center of the world's key energy pathway. Such vessels prove ideal for unconventional fighting approaches in the limited and intricate shallows of the Hormuz Passage. Yet officials at the White House and within the Pentagon have grown wise to these familiar delay strategies that have been employed for decades now. As a result, Washington has mounted one of the most significant naval containment efforts in recent times. Centered on the USS George H.W. Bush carrier strike group, more than 20 armed warships have assembled into a formidable barrier spanning the strait. Overhead, the air fills with fighter aircraft and patrol planes, while American special forces maintain the highest state of readiness. This goes far beyond any ordinary confrontation. Instead, it stands as an intense showdown where Iran attempts to use the planet's most essential energy choke point as a tool for negotiation, and the United States has concluded that the time has come to halt these maneuvers once and for all. If you happen to be watching this presentation now, you are accessing critical information ahead of most conventional news sources, grasping the complete scope. I ask that you help me out here by tapping the subscribe option and activating notifications. Across the following 23 minutes, I plan to guide you carefully through the progression of this submerged strategic contest. We will examine the particular submarines Iran has concealed, the ways in which America is pursuing them, and the wider impacts on international oil values, funding for conflicts such as Vladimir Putin's campaign, along with the coming direction for the Middle East. I encourage you to remain engaged throughout. The developments you will encounter could reshape your perspective on the distribution of global influence as we move through 2026. Let me provide you with the broader context in full detail. Even while Iran appears at the discussion table suggesting a desire for stability, they are simultaneously setting up a threatening operation away from public view. Via their contacts in Pakistan, the Tehran government advanced a truce proposal clearly crafted to gain valuable time, hold off American responses, and diminish the increasing military strain in the vicinity. But concealed under this facade of diplomacy rests a considerably more ominous plan. Members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps have secretly initiated the placement of their Ghadir-class stealth submarine fleet into the narrowest and most important sectors of the Strait of Hormuz. These are far from typical underwater vessels. Spanning merely 29 meters and weighing only 125 tons, they offer compact size, reduced noise, and excellent adaptation to the shallow conditions found in the strait. Every Ghadir submarine possesses the ability to position itself on the bottom, deactivate major systems, and wait patiently for hours or even longer periods, acting as a concealed explosive waiting to activate. Loaded with Valfar heavy torpedoes as well as JASC submarine-launched cruise missiles, they gain the means to hit substantial oil carriers or American warships with minimal advance notice. Their diesel-electric propulsion systems merge their acoustic signature nearly seamlessly with the sounds from nearby commercial shipping, rendering them very hard to pick up using sonar equipment. Consider for a moment why this presents such a significant hazard. On average, the Strait of Hormuz features water depths of only around 36 meters. This restricted environment poses major difficulties for larger United States nuclear submarines, yet supplies an optimal environment for Iran's miniature submarine force. Varying temperature layers, forceful seabed currents, and abrupt salinity variations provide natural concealment that can throw off even the most sophisticated sonar technologies available today. Having carefully reviewed the latest reports, the overall picture emerges quite clearly for us. Iran has returned to employing the Strait of Hormuz as their primary leverage item, relying on the approach they have utilized across 47 years. Through the possibility of shutting down or interfering with this crucial route responsible for 20% of global oil transportation, Tehran expects to obtain important compromises from the United States and associated nations. However, the White House, along with Pentagon leadership, no longer accepts participation in this hazardous pattern of behavior. They have identified the ceasefire suggestion as precisely the delaying action it represents, providing extra opportunity for Iranian submarines to establish their positions. We face a crisis of considerable magnitude at present. Should any single misstep or error in calculation occur, the primary global energy route might transform into an area of maritime catastrophe. Worldwide oil costs could surge rapidly within a short time. Financial systems stretching from Europe through to Asia would experience the repercussions, raising dramatically the possibility of open military engagement between Iran and the United States. Later on in this presentation, I will reveal in detail the powerful manner in which the United States has countered using substantial resources from the carrier, strike formations, and escort destroyers to the aircraft support and the advanced methods for underwater detection currently active. Prior to reaching that point, though, it remains essential to recognize something important. The steps Iran is taking extend beyond typical regional posturing. They constitute a straightforward test to worldwide energy reliability and the principle of free navigation at sea. Washington has made the determination to confront this provocation firmly and without hesitation. Now allow me to outline precisely the United States' reaction to the concealed danger present here. After devoting considerable time to reviewing satellite photographs, public declarations, and internal Pentagon information that has surfaced, I am prepared to describe one of the most complex naval endeavors seen recently. The United States government has put into motion an exceptionally large naval containment action that ranks among the biggest the contemporary era has observed. Positioned at the core of this strong defensive line is the USS George H.W. Bush, a Nimitz-class aircraft carrier directing an extensive strike group. Exceeding 20 heavy-equipped warships have proceeded into the Strait of Hormuz and established what resembles an unbreakable maritime stronghold. This effort represents much more than a standard patrol mission. It constitutes a purposeful and dominant demonstration of capability meant to neutralize Iran's submerged tactics prior to their complete development. Permit me to describe the composition vessel by vessel so that the real extent of United States power deployment becomes apparent. The USS George H.W. Bush leads the arrangement. From the carrier deck groups of FCA-18 Super Hornet fighter aircraft take off continuously. These planes conduct patrols in the skies resembling watchful birds of prey, poised to respond at any instant. Equipped with cutting-edge AN/APG-79 AESA radar capabilities, they monitor numerous targets concurrently, while their precision weaponry enables pilots to engage moving objectives with remarkable exactness. Positioned immediately following the carrier come the Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyers, including the USS John Finn and USS Milius. Serving as fundamental elements of the containment, these vessels each feature 90 to 96 vertical launch cells filled with Tomahawk cruise missiles along with SM-3 and SM-6 air defense missiles, plus equipment for anti-submarine operations. The AN/SPY-1D radar installations generate a comprehensive protective field surrounding the full strike formation that proves nearly impossible to breach. Supporting the group logistically, the USNS Carl Brashear, a Lewis and Clark-class supply vessel, travels alongside. This mobile storage platform guarantees that all destroyers, cruisers, and the carrier maintain their positions for extended durations without the necessity of returning to home ports. Provisions including fuel supplies, meals, ammunition stocks, and replacement components receive constant replenishment while at sea, ensuring the containment remains robust. In zones of reduced depth nearer the Iranian shoreline, one finds the Independence-class littoral combat vessels. These swift and maneuverable ships receive specialized design for activities in restricted waters similar to Hormuz. Carrying sophisticated packages for mine detection together with 57mm guns and Hellfire missile systems, their contribution proves essential. They serve on the forefront, protecting against groups of Iranian high-speed attack craft, as well as shorter-range missile threats. Positioned somewhat further, the San Antonio-class amphibious ship, USS New Orleans, supplies additional important functions to the operation. Capable of transporting Marine personnel, F-35B Lightning II stealth fighters, and specialized operations units, the vessel stands prepared at all times to deploy SEAL teams or deliver powerful nearby air assistance when required. The containment arrangement extends in a solid line resembling a metallic barrier stretching from Ras al-Had within Oman, reaching toward the Iranian frontier close to Chabahar. The positioning remains so compact that no ship can cross without receiving approval from American command. Already more than 61 merchant vessels have needed to alter their paths due to the ongoing activity. Yet perhaps the most striking element involves the approach taken toward Iranian oil transport ships. I want to emphasize the level of accuracy and restraint demonstrated by United States personnel. Among the initial significant targets appeared the large empty tanker known as MT Sea-3, a pair of FCA-18 Super Hornets vests departing from the USS George H.W. Bush neared the ship. Using standard international communication channels, the aviators delivered firm and clear cautions, offering the Iranian commander a last opportunity to adjust direction. Once those alerts went unheeded, the decision came to act. Accurately guided armaments impacted the tanker's exhaust structure with exceptional precision. The resulting blasts disabled the propulsion mechanisms without causing the vessel to go under. Targeted effects within the engine compartment rendered the ship unable to navigate or communicate, leaving it adrift and vulnerable amid the waters. Not long afterward, the MT Sevda encountered an identical outcome. Only a short time before that, an FCE-18 operating from the USS Abraham Lincoln focused on the MT Hosna. 20mm gunfire damaged the tanker's steering components, severely leaving it incapable of controlled movement. The enormous craft ended up floating according to sea flows, with its prospects of arriving at Iranian harbors diminishing steadily. Every one of these engagements occurred with great exactness and care. The United States intentionally avoided sinking the ships completely. The reasoning behind this choice stems from a desire to prevent a large-scale environmental incident in the Persian Gulf region while still succeeding in halting Iran's oil shipment activities entirely. Let us now turn attention beneath the surface to the intense game of pursuit and evasion occurring there. Under the clouded shallow areas of Hormuz, the Iranian Ghadir-class submarines continue their wait, yet they find themselves in an increasingly difficult position. The United States Navy has established a remarkable system for underwater detection and response. From high altitudes, P-8 Poseidon surveillance aircraft regularly release sonobuoys, which are advanced listening instruments, forming an undetectable sensor network throughout the strait. These devices possess the sensitivity to identify even minor mechanical noises across significant distances. At sea level, Arleigh Burke destroyers pull extensive sonar arrays trailing behind. These lengthy sensitive lines pick up the smallest sounds from propellers or vessel structures. Simultaneously, MH-60 Seahawk helicopters maintain position and lower their sonar equipment into the sea, effectively scanning each portion of the waterway in detail. Unmanned surface craft fitted with artificial intelligence capabilities also conduct patrols, charting the sound environment with high accuracy. Any unusual readings from the seabed transmit immediately to central command posts. Operating in deeper zones, Virginia-class nuclear-powered attack submarines move quietly through the shadows. Recognized as the premier hunter vessels globally, these units stand prepared. Should a Ghadir-class submarine commit even a minor error, such as activating a pump, venting a battery, or shifting position slightly, the Virginia-class submarines stand ready to engage. Lightweight Mark 54 or heavier Mark 48 torpedoes can deploy rapidly from planes or subs, neutralizing the danger within moments. I wish to state this point directly and without ambiguity. While the Iranian Ghadir submarines carry theoretical risk, in the current reality, they operate within a net of advanced technology that constrains them. The compact dimensions that previously offered benefits in shallow zones now restrict their options for evasion following detection. Crews consisting of 7 members experience substantial mental strain, aware that United States units pursue them without pause around the clock. At the same time, Iran maintains additional tools for unconventional operations. Numerous high-speed attack boats constructed with composite materials remain concealed within coastal caves and areas used by fishing vessels. These craft, equipped with powerful guns, rockets, and smaller anti-ship missiles, aim to assault in coordinated groups, hoping to overload American defense arrays. From the air, Shahed-style suicide drones attempt infiltration, targeting radar installations and command areas. Naturally, the large inventory of naval mines, including contact, magnetic, and sound-activated types, could see deployment on short notice. United States naval forces address every one of these potential dangers at the same time. EA-18G Growler planes specialized in electronic warfare disrupt Iranian shore-based radar and communication links. Phalanx close-in weapon systems aboard each destroyer prepare to destroy approaching drones using rapid-fire capabilities, reaching thousands of rounds each minute. Specialized operations personnel stationed on the MV Ocean Trader near Diego Garcia stay prepared continuously for potential covert actions. What we observe exceeds a mere containment effort. It encompasses an integrated operation spanning air, surface, subsurface, electronic, and digital domains, functioning with impressive coordination and effectiveness. The communication coming from Washington leaves no room for doubt. The period during which Iran could treat the Strait of Hormuz as an instrument of coercion appears to be concluding. With each day, the containment persists. Iran experiences revenue losses nearing $500 million. Such ongoing financial losses generate significant strain within the governing system. In upcoming segments, I will discuss the larger strategic context, connections to ongoing conflicts like the one in Ukraine involving Russia, and potential outcomes should Iran choose further escalation. Before proceeding further, though, take a moment to absorb this key insight. The events currently visible in the Strait of Hormuz transcend any ordinary local dispute. They represent a pivotal evaluation of United States maritime strength, confronting contemporary unconventional combat methods, and up to this stage, America continues to exhibit clear superiority in these waters. Now I will clarify for you the reasons why current activities in the Strait of Hormuz carry importance extending well outside the Persian Gulf boundaries. Far from representing simply another maritime tension, this has evolved into the primary setting for a worldwide contest for influence carrying major effects upon economic conditions globally, stability within the region, and the evolving distribution of authority throughout the Middle East. Initially, the financial circumstances prove quite severe on the ground. Due to the American containment action, the Iranian governing body endures substantial daily monetary losses amounting to roughly $500 million. Their oil shipments have decreased to a small portion of usual volumes. The burden placed upon Iran's challenged economic system approaches a critical threshold. These figures move beyond theoretical calculations. They reflect actual resources required by the regime for compensating personnel, sustaining armed forces operations, and preventing public dissatisfaction from erupting. Following developments within the country attentively reveals growing instability in Tehran. Hardline elements inside the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps apply continuous demands upon top leadership for a forceful counteraction. They recognize the impossibility of prevailing in a traditional conflict versus the United States, which explains their increased focus upon irregular warfare approaches. The complete naval approach of Iran centers upon ongoing wearing down of opponents, creating mental strain, and elevating expenses for American operations to unsustainable degrees. This explains the presence of hundreds of fast boats along the shoreline, Shahed drones overhead, and extensive mine reserves prepared for use. Their objective stays straightforward: saturate American protective measures using numerous inexpensive assets, achieve perhaps one successful strike upon an expensive naval vessel, and compel Washington toward an expensive drawn-out engagement. Yet I want to make certain you grasp this next point completely. The United States refuses to remain passive in response. American strategists have foreseen Iran's methods and ready themselves to advance past simple protection and containment. Should Iran maintain its hazardous underwater and surface activities while continuing to weaponize the Strait of Hormuz against worldwide economic interests, American planning might change substantially toward proactive engagement. Picture the following possibility involving barrages of Tomahawk missiles released from surface ships and submarines alongside attacks conducted by B-2 Spirit stealth bombers flying from bases including Diego Garcia or potentially originating within the United States mainland. Within a brief time frame, Iran's primary naval facilities, such as those at Bandar Abbas, installations on Kish Island and Yazd, hidden missile storage, and protected submarine locations, could face methodical elimination. Coastal missile positions, belonging to the Revolutionary Guard, currently oriented seaward, would lose their effectiveness. Such an effort would surpass limited action in scope. It would amount to a conclusive campaign intended to remove Iran's capacity for influence within the Gulf region over an extended period, potentially spanning many years. The B-2 Spirit aircraft, nearly undetectable by detection systems, could transport substantial penetrating ordnance deep into mountainous Iranian installations, housing critical missile and nuclear-related resources. Both you and I understand the gravity involved here. The critical moment has been reached, and the situation intensifies daily. The Strait of Hormuz has shifted from serving as the primary global energy transit route into a zone of extreme digital and conventional conflict, where split-second decisions determine outcomes of survival or loss. If this sequence of events accelerates, the results will reach far past Iranian borders alone. International oil valuations already showing instability could experience sharp increases. Major insurers such as Lloyd's of London might halt coverage for maritime activities in the zone, essentially rendering the strait unusable for commercial traffic. Distribution networks connecting Asia with Europe would encounter major interruptions. Energy supplies stored for winter in Europe, along with manufacturing activities in China and India, would all register the effects strongly. Beyond economics, this situation involves significant broader strategic considerations. Over many years, Iran has depended upon potential closure of the Strait of Hormuz as their strongest protective measure. Successful removal of this advantage by the United States would mark a major historical setback strategically for Tehran. Authority structures throughout the wider Middle East might undergo redrawing in manners unseen since events following the 2003 conflict in Iraq. Simultaneously, partners of America throughout the Gulf region, including Saudi Arabia and the UAE, monitor these actions with close attention. Their readiness to back additional United States initiatives will hinge significantly upon the firmness shown by Washington in managing the existing challenge. Israel continues maintaining elevated preparedness, prepared to respond should Iran pursue any extreme actions involving their nuclear efforts. That said, potential drawbacks exist for the United States as well. An extended period of tension, even if handled successfully, would commit important American naval assets during a period when challenges increase in different global locations, especially across the Indo-Pacific region. Each destroyer or carrier assigned to Hormuz represents one fewer resource available for other priorities. This constitutes the difficult reality we must acknowledge. The view from the Strait of Hormuz stands out with clarity at present. Iran persists in treating the waterway as leverage despite finding itself increasingly restricted. Yet the tolerance level in Washington diminishes steadily with each moment. Leadership in Tehran confronts a fundamental decision point. Persist with hazardous unconventional tactics and face possible complete loss of naval and shoreline abilities, or identify a real pathway toward meaningful reduction of tensions. The events we observe do not amount only to a sea-based confrontation. Rather, they signal a decisive moment when Iran's long-developed unconventional combat system, spanning 47 years now, meets what could represent the most resolute American efforts in the area. Should tensions rise further, Washington might achieve more than simply opening the passage. It could alter power relationships across the Middle East in ways that prevent return to previous conditions for a generation or longer. In the concluding portion of this presentation, I will condense the implications and highlight developments to monitor closely over coming days and weeks. To summarize, an entirely new and more hazardous phase has commenced both below and upon the waters of the Strait of Hormuz. The occurrences you observe transcend any standard naval tension. We witness a significant historical shift where Iran's 47-year strategy of asymmetric operations now faces direct opposition from America's superior military resources. The overall situation clarifies considerably. Despite maintaining an appearance of pursuing peace, Iran keeps employing the Strait of Hormuz in attempts at coercion. Ghadir-class submarines continue their presence underwater, high-speed boats stay concealed near shorelines, and extensive mine supplies remain available. Still, the endurance of Washington decreases constantly. The United States has communicated its stance without ambiguity. The time when Iran could regard this vital worldwide energy route as a personal asset for pressure nears its conclusion. Continuing with risky underwater and surface activities might prompt American planning to transition quickly from defensive containment toward comprehensive preemptive operations. Under those conditions, Iran's naval facilities, missile positions, and shoreline structures could face elimination within a short number of hours. The stakes extend beyond energy resources alone at this stage. The Strait of Hormuz now occupies the focal point of international power competition, functioning as an area of intense pressure where fractions of seconds separate continued operation from disaster. With that in mind, I pose this question directly to you, the viewer. Do you anticipate that United States naval forces will initiate action first against these hidden underwater dangers? Or might Iran's unconventional combat methods manage to create conditions for an extended international crisis and large-scale naval conflict in the Strait of Hormuz lasting potentially years? Please share your perspectives in the comment section. I review each response personally and remain interested in your honest assessment regarding likely events over the coming 48 to 72 hours. Should you consider this thorough examination helpful and desire additional straightforward analysis concerning urgent geopolitical matters of this nature, please select the like option. Pass along the presentation to others who would benefit from understanding these real dynamics, and join our community by subscribing immediately. Activate notification features to stay current with every update. We provide complete audio editions on Spotify for convenient listening during commutes or exercise sessions. My appreciation goes out to everyone who remained engaged to the conclusion. During periods of significant developments, maintaining awareness becomes especially valuable. This is Political Insight Live. Remain secure, keep informed, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon in the following presentation.